I donated a kidney to my husband on June 3rd of 2024, and it'll be 1 year in a couple weeks. Worked here for 25 years at CTI and am very proud and happy to make a difference. My husband called me June 28th. I was on my way into work and he called me and he said, they're taking me to the hospital. I don't feel great and maybe you should meet us there. So I got to the emergency room and his blood pressure was off the charts. So they weren't sure if he was having a stroke or a heart attack. I kind of thought it was a stroke from what they had been describing. So at the end of the day, luckily they determined it was neither. His blood pressure had just spiked to a ridiculous, like off the charts. Basically, it just crashed his kidneys. He gets admitted to the Christ Hospital for 5 days in ICU. Determined that his kidneys were not functioning, but they thought they could bounce back. So they sent him home on blood pressure meds to bring his blood pressure down. The thought was that it was just all wrapped around uncontrolled, undiagnosed hypertension. So he comes home the weekend of 4th of July. No doctors are in the offices anywhere on holiday. Oddly, he all of a sudden starts with hiccups. He had hiccups for 72 hours straight. 72 hours straight during his sleep, why he ate, everything he did, hiccups. Now I know that that is a huge sign of kidney failure. So finally got him into another doctor that was with the same group, and 2 days later started on dialysis. For all of this, I will tell you, I can say with 100% certainty that's the hardest part, the dialysis part. Dialysis was so incredibly hard for him. Hemodialysis, he would have an incredibly difficult time getting through the treatments, and then by the time he felt himself again, he would have to go back for another treatment. So it was 3 days a week, and he was there for about 4 to 6 hours each time. That was the hardest part of all of this, I think. Luckily, he was able to do peritoneal dialysis, which is dialysis at home. He was able to hook himself up, function normally, and so that was great. But during all of this, trying to navigate to get to a doctor that would be the right person that could help us, I think that was probably one of the most difficult parts as well. And that's when I reached out to Tim, because I knew, given what we do, that he would be able to help. And of course he did. He connected me with Dr. Woodle, who is the head of transplant at UC. He was absolutely amazing. Just made everything feel okay, because he's like, it's gonna be fine. You're going to find someone that's gonna be a match. We're gonna get through this. And at that point, I had already started talking about me being an option. Sometimes this doesn't always work, whether it's female to male, or because of the size, or more because of the size than anything. So I kind of put that in the back of my head and thought, well, we'll wait and see. Eventually, we fast forward a little bit, we go in to meet Dr. Riddle in the office at UC. That's when we kind of got the information about, like, okay, how do you spread the word? How do we let other people know? Because people had already asked us, friends and family, how do we donate? Like, what can we do to see if we're a match? That day, I immediately wanted to see if I was a match. I think it was probably about a month before I found out that I was a match. So from that visit, and then that was probably when I cried the most, because oh my gosh, my poor coordinator, she called me and I couldn't speak. My son happened to be home that day, and he's like, what is wrong? And I'm like, nothing. Like, he's like, what is happening? I'm like, it's fine. He said, I'm happy. Called my husband, and he's like, there's just no way. He's like, this is not even possible. I'm like, it's possible. This is happening. The whole time I kept saying, this is happening. This is gonna happen. I just have a feeling about it. It's gonna happen. After that, I wound up going through all the tests. The tests are everything, like you get a full scan, tons of blood work. And then they said, you have an issue with your heart. My coordinator called and said, so we have to take you off the list. You need to see a cardiologist. I had a CT scan. It was fine. It was absolutely nothing. So all of this is like, I hope to educate people to know that sometimes you just have to keep asking questions. You have to keep pressing forward. You have to just make sure you have the right answers before you just say, okay. That's one of the big things I think people sometimes find the complications of transplant to keep them from doing it. Because I will say, it was a very long time to get through all of this, given it, if you just think about the few tests that you need, the amount of blood you need drawn, and that's it. But it took months and months and months and months. So Dr. Chang, who was my surgeon, he said, if we do it right, and we will, he says, you won't feel any different afterwards. And I don't. So he is the one that not just Mike, of course, I'm doing this for Mike, but for Dr. Chang. I promised him that at some point afterwards that I would do whatever I could to help educate other people and help make other people aware of how easy it is. They asked me the question, probably a month before. They just want to double check. Are you sure you can change your mind? Up until the second we're rolling you down the hallway to the ER. First, why do you want to do this? And I said, well, why wouldn't I? Could not think of a single reason why. And they said, well, when did you decide? I said, the day they gave me the card and said, this is how you, it was no hesitation. I was done with the questionnaire before Mike even left his appointment that day. I would love for other people to understand it is just that easy. And I think a lot of people just don't understand the process well enough. One interesting way that Dr. Chang put it to me was like, he sees a lot of, he said, we see marathons all the time, marathoners, and they're running to raise money, which is amazing. Or when they do walks for all of these wonderful causes. But just a few of those people willing to donate a kidney, you wouldn't need all that money.